On the morning of June 17, 1994, news reporters from across Los Angeles raced to a single, highly anticipated location, their cameras ready to capture a moment that would likely last only a few seconds. The location was the LAPD headquarters in downtown Los Angeles, and by 11 a.m., over 1,000 journalists had gathered at the entrance, all vying to document the perp walk of O.J. Simpson, who, at any minute, was expected to be placed in handcuffs right there. In the mid-90s, this event was shaping up to be one of the biggest media spectacles imaginable. O.J. Simpson was not just a household name, he was a living legend. Known as one of the most successful football players of all time, O.J. had also carved out a prominent career as a media personality, appearing as a sports commentator, movie actor, and in numerous commercials. O.J. Simpson's rise to fame. Simpson's rise to fame began on the football field. As a standout running back at the University of Southern California, USC, he won the prestigious Heisman Trophy in 1968, solidifying his status as one of the greatest college football players of all time. His success continued in the NFL, where he played for the Buffalo Bills and later the San Francisco 49ers. Simpson became the first player in NFL history to rush for more than 2,000 yards in a single season, a record that still stands as one of the greatest achievements in sports. His nickname, The Juice, was a nod to both his electrifying style of play and his initials, O.J. Simpson, as a media personality. Beyond his sports career, Simpson was also a trailblazer in the world of entertainment. He was one of the first African-American athletes to successfully transition into mainstream media, starring in commercials for Hertz, where he was famously seen running through airports and appearing in popular movies like the Naked Gun series. His charisma and good looks made him a popular figure in American culture, and he was widely admired by fans of all races. The double homicide, the discovery of the bodies. But on this day, Simpson was facing something far more serious than his previous achievements or public persona. He was about to be taken into custody as the prime suspect in a double homicide investigation, one of the most serious crimes imaginable. Just 5 days earlier, in the upscale Brentwood neighborhood of Los Angeles, 2 bodies had been discovered. The victims were Nicole Brown, Simpson's ex-wife, and Ron Goldman, a friend of Nicole's, both brutally murdered in front of Brown's apartment. Nicole Brown's history of abuse. Nicole Brown had endured years of harassment and abuse at the hands of Simpson, both during and after their marriage. It was well documented that O.J. had stalked her and been violent toward her on multiple occasions. Nicole had called 911 several times, reporting incidents of domestic violence, and there was a clear history of abuse that would later become a central issue in the trial.
911 emergency.
Can you get someone over here now to 325 Gretna Green? He's back. Please.
Well, okay, what does he look like?
He's O.J. Simpson. I think you know his record.
The 911 call played a significant role in the unfolding drama, providing chilling evidence of the fear and danger Nicole Brown faced. The anticipation at the LAPD headquarters was palpable as the media and the public braced themselves for what would become one of the most sensationalized criminal cases in American history. The arrest warrant and media frenzy. Issuance of the arrest warrant. The second victim, Ron Goldman, was a friend of Nicole Brown's, who just happened to be at her apartment that night to return a pair of glasses she had left behind at a restaurant. Unfortunately, this small act of kindness placed him at the scene during the brutal crime. Traces of blood belonging to the perpetrator were found at the crime scene, and the evidence began to point directly at O.J. Simpson, making him the prime suspect in the double homicide. With this incriminating evidence in hand, the police made the decision to arrest O.J. Simpson.
Los Angeles County District Attorney has just filed murder charges against Orenthal James O.J. Simpson.
The issuance of the arrest warrant for O.J. Simpson only intensified the media frenzy and public interest in the case. setting the stage for what would become one of the most widely covered criminal trials in history. As the nation watched, the drama unfolded in real time, with every development scrutinized and broadcast to millions of viewers. O.J. Simpson's disappearance. Voluntary surrender agreement. Due to O.J. Simpson's fame and his previous cooperation with law enforcement, it was widely assumed that there was little risk of him attempting to flee. After all, a celebrity of his stature wouldn't likely go on the run. With this in mind, the police made an agreement with Simpson's lawyers that allowed him to voluntarily surrender at the police station, which led to the massive gathering of reporters eagerly awaiting his arrival. O.J. Simpson fails to surrender. However, this is where events took an unexpected turn. As time passed, with more than 2 hours gone by, the mood among the crowd of reporters shifted from anticipation to confusion. Suddenly, they were asked to come inside the building. Uncertain of what was happening, the reporters were stunned when they heard the police statement.
The Los Angeles Police Department right now is actively searching for Mr. Simpson.
The announcement that O.J. Simpson had not arrived as planned and was now being actively sought by the police shocked the nation. What was initially expected to be a routine perp walk had quickly escalated into one of the most infamous and dramatic manhunts in U.S. history. The manhunt begins. Simpson's disappearance and letters. With O.J. Simpson failing to show up at the police station, the authorities decided to head to his location. O.J. had spent the previous night and morning at the home of his close friend and lawyer, Robert Kardashian, in the San Fernando Valley. Along with Simpson's legal team, several doctors, and O.J.'s former football teammate and childhood friend, Al Cowlings, were also present. When the police officers arrived at Kardashian's house, they were first met by Simpson's lawyers, who assured them that O.J. was calming down and preparing to surrender.
O.J., wherever you are, for the sake of your family, for the sake of your children, please surrender immediately.
However, when the police went to bring Simpson in, they discovered that he and Al Cowlings were gone. In their place, they found 3 letters left behind by O.J., which many interpreted as signs that he was contemplating taking his own life. One letter was addressed to his children, another to his mother, and a third to the general public. Just a few hours later, Robert Kardashian read this public letter aloud to the assembled reporters, an emotional moment that added to the mounting drama.
I think of my life and feel I've done most of the right things. So why do I end up like this? I can't go on.
The content of the letter and the circumstances of O.J.'s disappearance intensified the already feverish media coverage, leaving the public and law enforcement on edge as they awaited the next development in what had quickly become a national spectacle. The infamous car chase, Simpson's escape in the white Ford Bronco. One of the most recognizable figures in the city and the country had vanished. As soon as the police became aware of O.J. Simpson's disappearance, so did thousands of reporters, all scrambling to be the first to track him down. What no one knew at the time was that O.J. was not hiding in a safe house or secluded location. He was on the move. At that very moment, O.J. was sitting in the passenger seat of a white Ford Bronco, driven by his longtime friend Al Cowlings, heading south on the 405 freeway. Destination: Ascension Cemetery. Their intended destination was the Ascension Cemetery in Orange County, a place they had visited just a few hours earlier. On June 16th, the day before O.J. disappeared, Nicole Brown Simpson's funeral had taken place there.
The 2 small Simpson children, followed by O.J. Simpson himself, the mourning ex-husband, the grieving father, the focus of a murder investigation.
Despite mounting suspicions regarding his innocence, O.J., as Nicole's ex-husband, attended the memorial service. Now, just 1 day later, O.J. wanted to return to her grave, presumably intending to harm himself there. However, when they arrived at the cemetery, they realized that going to the gravesite without being recognized was impossible.
Did you go to her grave?
Yes. Well, we never made it there because there was a police car blocking you.
They wouldn't let you in?
Well, AC saw and avoided going in.
As the pursuit continued, the situation quickly escalated into one of the most infamous car chases in U.S. history, with the white Bronco being followed by a growing number of police vehicles and news helicopters. The world watched in real time as O.J. Simpson, once a beloved sports hero, became the central figure in a dramatic and tragic saga. Radio reports and changing plans. Unsure of what to do next, Al Cowlings parked the car near the cemetery. According to his own account, O.J. wanted to wait until the police left so he could still visit Nicole Brown's grave. While they were waiting, they turned on the radio and quickly realized that nearly every station was reporting on the massive search for them. In an effort to avoid recognition, O.J. moved from the passenger seat to the back seat and lay down, instructing Cowlings to drive back north toward his house, intending to meet his mother there. Tracing the phone call, aware that a full-scale manhunt was underway, O.J. Simpson decided to call the police himself. The authorities quickly traced the call, pinpointing its location near the El Toro Y interchange.
Attention all units and stations for Station 18 per LAPD. Attempt to locate 187 suspect. Southbound 5 freeway from El Toro at 1646 hours in a white 1993 Ford Bronco, possible plate 3 Delta Hotel Yankee 503.
With this critical information, it didn't take long for the first police car to spot the white Bronco.
241, I'm behind it. Occupied by a male black. Northbound 5, north of Red Hill.
Journalists across Los Angeles were monitoring police radio channels, and soon the first news helicopter found the chase and broadcasted it live. The pursuit of O.J. Simpson and Al Cowlings was now being shown on televisions in homes and sports bars nationwide. The cultural impact of the chase, live broadcast to millions. Although Cowlings didn't stop, he also made no attempt to outrun the police, maintaining a slow speed of just 30 miles per hour. This unusual pace caused traffic around the Bronco to decrease significantly, as no new vehicles could catch up from behind the police blockade. Meanwhile, the situation in the air was entirely different. More than 9 news helicopters were now hovering above the highway, each broadcasting the chase live to millions of viewers. Attempting negotiation with the police. As Cowlings continued to drive along the highway, he called 911 in an attempt to negotiate with the police, hoping to bring the situation to a peaceful conclusion.
911, what are you reporting?
This is AC. I have OJ in the car.
Okay, where are you?
Please, I'm coming up the 5 freeway.
Okay.
Right now, we all okay, but you gotta tell the police to just back off. He's still alive, but he got a gun to his head.
Listen, what's your name?
My name is AC. You know who I am, goddammit.
Okay. All righty, sir. Hold on just a moment.
Hi, what's your name? Hello?
The slow, dramatic chase captivated the nation, turning into one of the most unforgettable moments in American television history. As the world watched, the tension mounted, with everyone wondering how this incredible and surreal event would finally end. Media strategy and public reactions. The information that O.J. Simpson was armed added a dangerous dimension to the situation. The LAPD, realizing the gravity of the chase, tried to use the many news cameras tracking the Bronco from all angles to their advantage. They cooperated with news helicopters to get a better view of what was happening inside the vehicle. Go, O.J., go! Public fascination. Meanwhile, the white Ford Bronco exited Interstate 5 and turned onto California State Route 91, heading west. As the chase progressed, more and more onlookers gathered along the side of the road, eager to witness the spectacle in person. Years earlier, O.J. was the face of a popular Hertz car rental campaign, appearing in ads where he sprinted through airport terminals while being cheered on by onlookers with the slogan, "Go O.J. Go." Now, in a bizarre twist, people were shouting that same slogan as the Bronco, with O.J. inside, drove by, followed closely by police. Breaking television records. Massive television audience. The entire country was on edge. It was a Friday evening, and with several major sporting events underway, television viewership was already high. But the O.J. chase quickly overshadowed everything else, catapulting viewership to unprecedented levels. Sports broadcasts were interrupted or relegated to a small frame on the side of the screen. Some sports commentators who personally knew O.J. even took the opportunity to appeal to him directly, urging him to surrender peacefully. No sporting event could match the drama unfolding on the streets of Los Angeles. Comparison to the Super Bowl. For comparison, the most watched television event of 1994, up until that point, was the Super Bowl in January, which drew 90 million viewers, making it the third most watched Super Bowl ever at the time.
Well, back to the stadium, and I think we broke the record here.
Montana rolls to the right, comes back across the middle, complete to right, into the end zone.
But the O.J. chase set a new record. When all the broadcasts were combined, an astonishing 95 million Americans were watching the pursuit. This made it the sixth most watched broadcast in U.S. television history up to that point, a remarkable feat considering that most events on that list were heavily promoted in advance, whereas this chase happened in real time without any prior notice. The final moments. LAPD's desperate measures. As the Bronco switched onto Interstate 405, heading further north, the LAPD became increasingly desperate to resolve the situation. Knowing that O.J. was using his cell phone while driving, LAPD Detective Tom Lang remembered that he had O.J.'s number and decided to call it. To his surprise, O.J. answered the call.
Yeah. Just let me get to my house. Okay, we're gonna do that. I swear to you, I'll give you what. I'll give you me. I'll give you my whole body. Okay. I just need to get to my house. Okay. We're gonna do that. Just throw the gun out the window. I can't do that. We're not gonna bother you. We're gonna let you go up there. Just throw it out the window, please. You're scaring everybody. OJ, you there?
The conversation between O.J. and the police, broadcast live to millions, added yet another layer of intensity to the chase. As the country watched, hoping for a peaceful resolution, the chase continued to unfold in a way that no one could have predicted. Negotiations in Brentwood. As O.J. Simpson and Al Cowlings approached the Brentwood neighborhood where O.J.'s house was located, the car exited the freeway and navigated through narrower streets. On the phone, LAPD Detective Tom Lang continued to engage with the distressed and potentially dangerous O.J. Simpson, repeatedly trying to calm him down by talking about his children and family.
You're listening to me, I know you. You're thinking about your kids right now, aren't you? Aren't you? They're thinking about you. They're thinking about you. So is your mother. Your mother loves you.
I'm the only one that deserves.
No, you don't deserve that.
Get hurt.
You do not deserve to get hurt. You do not deserve to get hurt. Don't do this.
All I did was love Nicole. That's all I did was love her.
I understand.
I love everybody. I try to show everybody my whole life that I love everybody.
We know that. And everybody loves you.
Lange carefully shifted the conversation to flatter O.J., referring to him by his famous football nickname, Juice, and urging him not to give up.
Juice, don't give in now. You've been a man all your life. You're admired. Don't give it up.
At 7:57 p.m., after a long and tense journey, the white Ford Bronco finally arrived at O.J.'s home. Cowlings pulled into the driveway and parked the vehicle. As they came to a stop, O.J.'s son, Jason, ran towards the car, shouting through the driver's window in a desperate attempt to reach his father.
All right, who is that out there? Just toss it, Juice.
The police officers who were already at the house feared that this emotional moment could escalate the situation further, so they intervened, leading Jason away from the car. On the call audio, Cowlings can be heard frantically trying to prevent OJ from harming himself.
Yes.
Don't do it, OJ. Don't make him. I got you, OJ. Please, listen to me. Listen to me, OJ. Listen to me. He's a bag of you, man. OJ, no, OJ.
Final surrender. For anyone who still doubted the extremely cautious approach the LAPD took throughout this chase, an approach that was quite atypical for the LAPD at that time, what happened next made it abundantly clear. Over the next 15 minutes, tense negotiations took place between the occupants of the car and the police. Occasionally, Cowlings even stepped out of the car to shout at officers who got too close. Eventually, they reached an agreement. OJ would surrender, but only on his own terms. OJ finally emerged from the vehicle and was allowed to enter his house, where his lawyers had already arrived. Inside, OJ was given the opportunity to drink a glass of orange juice and make a phone call to his mother. It was only after this that he was handcuffed and placed into a police car, which then transported him to the LAPD Parker Center to be formally placed into custody. The infamous car chase that had gripped the nation had finally come to an end.